Hi and welcome to Cooking with Alaksha. Today I'm so excited to show you how to make a dish called Chicken Saag. It is a perfect dish for the cold weather, and right now it's cold and snowing outside, so this is going to be perfect. It's very easy to make as well. So let's get started. First I'm going to cook some rice because the rice takes about 20 minutes. So while the rice is cooking, we can cook the chicken as well. So everything will take about 20 to 30 minutes. It's very easy. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is take 1 cup of rice. I use basmati rice. It is a long grain, very fragrant rice. And I'm going to cook that with 3 cups of water. So 1 cup of rice and 3 cups of water. This is going to make it really fluffy. It'll cook really well. It's going to be like soft pillows. So 2 cups and 3 cups. Okay, so I'm going to get that going. And whenever I cook rice, I always add a little bit of oil. That's going to avoid the sticking of the rice grains. You don't want it to stick. You want it to be nice and fluffy. And I also add some salt, some pink Himalayan salt. You always season all your dishes. Make sure there's seasoning. The salt just brings out the flavor. So now I'm going to just cover that and let that cook and forget about it. Now we're going to start the chicken. So with the chicken, first you need a nice hot pan. I've got the flame on medium. I'm going to add some oil. I've got avocado oil. You can add coconut oil or just regular vegetable oil. You can also use ghee, which is a clarified butter. That's really good as well. But I'm going to make this dairy free, so I'm using avocado oil. So I've just put maybe about 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm going to let that heat up a little bit. To the oil, we use a lot of whole spices and dry ground spices. So what I'm going to add first here to give it some really good flavor is some cinnamon sticks. So we've got cinnamon sticks right here. This is going to give it a nice earthy spicy flavor, very fragrant. Then I've got 2 or 3 cloves. I've got about 5 here. So we've got cloves that go in. We've got some cardamom pods. This also gives it a very good flavor. These 3 are the basics in any Indian curry. You always need to have these whole spices because that gives it a lot of flavor, a lot of fragrance. Okay, while that's warming up, I'm going to cut some onions. I've got 1 white onion. You can use a red onion as well. I'm going to chop that and just chop this small and then add it to the hot oil. I love cooking for my family. This just is so comforting. It's very therapeutic to me to cook for my family and to cook for my customers, of course. My customers are like my family, so I love to cook. There we go. Now you see the spices have toasted. So I'm going to add my onions. Oh, you hear that sizzle? That's what you want to hear. These onions are going to caramelize really well and get brown and sweet. That's going to give it a lot of flavor. There we go. Look at that. It smells so good already. Wow. Onions and whole spices are always the base for our Indian cooking. Now that's going to take about 10 minutes to cook, to caramelize. So that's going to get nice and brown and sweet. Okay, so now we're going to get some ginger and garlic. I always use fresh ginger and garlic. So I've got a lot of cloves over here. You don't need to use all of it, but I need to make sure that the amount of ginger and garlic we use is the same quantity. So I've got a few cloves of garlic, and I've got some fresh ginger. Now this is what the ginger looks like. It's a root, it's got the skin, and it's very flavorful. It's got some spice to it, some heat to it, and this is the ginger root that I have peeled. Okay, so I've got equal parts of ginger and garlic, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop this up a little bit so that it's easy to grind up in the blender. Okay, chop it up. You really don't want pieces of ginger and garlic coming in your mouth. It's quite strong, so that's why I like to grind it up. So I'm going to grind it in my little mixer here. I'm going to use that in my curry. Okay. There we go. I'm just going to put the garlic in. Add just a little bit of water so it grinds up really well. Now I'm going to whisk it. I'm going to shake it a little bit. Okay, now let's check it. It should be a nice creamy paste. There you go, you see that? It smells so fresh. It's really, really good. This is what makes the difference. We always use fresh spices when it comes to ginger and garlic. We have some dry spices that we use, like chilies, ground and dry red green chilies. We have some turmeric, which is dry, but everything is as fragrant as possible when you toast it, and you use some fresh ones as well. Okay, so this is still caramelizing, just a few more minutes, and then I'm going to add 2 spoons of fresh ginger and garlic. There we go. You see, it cooks really quickly. Now while that's toasting and we've got our ginger and garlic ready, I'm going to chop some tomatoes. We use fresh tomatoes. You can always use tomato puree or canned tomatoes, but if you have fresh, that's always better. I'm just going to chop it up really small so that it blends into the base that I make. I've got 2 tomatoes here. It's going to give it a nice balance in the flavors. There's always, you know, with Indian flavors, there's always a balance. A little bit of sweetness, a little bit of spice, a little bit of tart. You have to have that balance. That gives it that umami flavor. The sweetness comes from the onions that we're caramelizing. The spice comes from all the different flavors of the spices that we use. And then the tart comes from the tomatoes. And of course, we have salt. We always add salt to every layer of our cooking. Indian cooking is always layers of food that we add in. We let it cook, then we add some more, and then we season each layer. Okay, the rice is getting there. I don't want the water to bubble over, so I'm going to open the lid for a little bit. Okay, this looks really good. Still cooking. It needs to cook a little bit more. So we've got our onions going, we've got ginger garlic ready, we've got the tomatoes ready. Now I'm going to talk about the chicken. So I have here, well, these are spices, so I'm just going to get this out of the way. I'm going to put it right here. We're going to need some more in a little bit, but let's talk about the chicken. So today I have chicken tenders. Chicken tenderloins. You can use bone-in chicken, you can use chicken breast, you can use chicken thighs, it doesn't matter. But this is chicken tenders. My kids and my family, they love to eat healthy. So this is very lean and I like this. It cooks very quickly as well. So you just cook it, cut it in bite-sized pieces like this, bite-sized chunks. So it's easy to eat and it's quick to cook as well. Okay, so I've got 1 pound of chicken right here. I'm going to quickly wash my hands. You see how nicely the onions have caramelized? This is how you want it. This is perfect. So this is going to give it some sweetness, because onions, when it's caramelized, it has that natural sugars that come out, and that really gives it a very good flavor. So I've got ginger garlic. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of ginger garlic. Now again, remember, this is equal amounts of ginger, fresh ginger, and equal amounts of garlic. Now I can already smell it. It smells so fragrant in here in the kitchen. So I'm going to let the ginger and garlic cook with the onions. It's going to get nice and toasty. I'll let this cook for a couple of minutes, and then I will add the tomatoes that we have chopped. Oh, I have Layla here, my little baby. She loves to come into the kitchen, and she always stands right below the stove because she thinks that food is going to drop from the stove, from the pot. So she always comes right here where I'm cooking. She can smell it. She's an Indian baby, Indian dog. She loves Indian food. Okay, so we see the rice is cooking. Not quite ready, but almost there. In about 10 minutes, it should be ready. It's almost there. It's going to fluff up, and it's going to be nice and soft. Okay, so this has been toasting for about 2 minutes. So now I'm going to add the tomatoes. The tomatoes is going to give it the tart. It's going to create a really nice thick gravy. Okay, I'm going to let that cook. The tomato is going to break down and become soft, and all the juices are going to come out, and it's going to create like a thick paste. I'm going to increase the gas a little bit. Let that cook down a bit. And once the tomatoes cook, I'm going to add some dry spices. Okay. Now these are the dry spices we use. This is very typical in Indian cuisine. This is a spice box. Every household, almost every Indian household, has a spice box. And it's a blend of different spices that we put in there. So this is turmeric. We use that a lot. It's very, very healthy. It's very, very good. This is dried red chilies. I use Kashmiri chilies because it's very fragrant and flavorful and not very spicy, and it's got a nice bright red color, and it's all natural, so it really enhances the flavors and the way the dish looks. Here we have some coriander. This is actually the seed of cilantro, and I get the seeds whole and I roast it, and then I grind it at home. That gives it a lot more flavor because everything is roasted fresh and ground. It just gives it that lemony flavor, lemon lime flavor. So that's coriander. And we have mustard seeds over here. We use mustard seeds a lot in cooking. We let it cook, and then it spits open. So that gives it a lot of flavor. Then we have cumin seeds over here. The cumin gives it a nice smoky flavor and earthy flavor. So we use a lot of cumin. This is cumin powder, and cumin powder is cumin seeds roasted and then ground up. And then we have fresh chilies, Kashmiri chilies. So we use that as well in some of our cooking. So curry is basically just a blend of spices. These are the main spices. So it's a blend of these spices that we use in our cooking. So if you can, please go to any Indian store, sometimes even stores like Lowe's or Whole Foods, they have these spices. So you can just get them and prepare your dishes based on what you're going to cook. You don't have to use the ready-made curry powder because we don't know really what they have put in there, but you can use these spices separately and create a delicious curry. Okay, so now the tomato is breaking down. You see that? It's going to create a nice thick paste. It's just been about 10 minutes since we've been cooking, so it's really quick. Now, since the tomatoes are breaking down and cooking, I'm going to add some of these spices, these dry spices. Okay, so turmeric is very important. I'm going to add about a teaspoon, almost a teaspoon of turmeric. I'm going to add a teaspoon of red chili powder. I'm going to add, say, about half a teaspoon of cumin. Cumin is very earthy and strong, so you don't want too much. You always use half of what you use for turmeric and for coriander. This is coriander. I'm going to use 1 spoon of coriander. Okay, so those are our main spices. I'm also going to add some salt at this point. I've got some pink Himalayan salt. I'm just going to use about a teaspoon. And then if you need more, I will add more later. Okay, here we go. And all this is going to cook. Oh, it smells so good in here. You can really smell the coriander, the lemon flavor, the earthiness of the cumin. You can smell the turmeric. The turmeric is very good for you. Okay, there we go. So that's going to cook a little bit. Now, very soon you'll see some oil, the oil that we used to start with, that's going to float up to the top. You can see it separate from the tomato and the onion mixture. And when that separates, then you know it's ready. And then you can add the chicken. Okay, let's look at the rice. Rice should be almost ready. Oh, you see the water has come out. It's all evaporated. So I'm going to lower it just a little bit more and then let it finish up in the steam. All the heat is going to really make it nice and fluffy. So I've lowered that gas. Okay, now see, this has become a nice thick paste now. So now I am going to add the chicken. Okay, 1 pound of chicken. You always layer, flavor every layer of ingredient that you put in your pot. That way it gets seasoned really well. So I've put this chicken. I'm going to add a little bit of salt on the chicken. So I had earlier when I seasoned the base with salt, that was for the base, so that the base is nice and flavorful. Now I'm going to add another teaspoon on the chicken, so that the chicken gets flavored and seasoned. I'm going to mix it all up, and this is going to cook for about 10 minutes. I'm going to cover this now and let it cook, let it do its thing. Wonderful. I'm going to lower the gas so it's on low heat. Now the rice, I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to turn off the rice. You see, that looks really good. It's going to fluff a little more in the heat, in the steam. So I'm going to just let that be, don't mess with it. Now we are cooking chicken saag. So saag means spinach. So I'm going to chop up some spinach so we can add the spinach. When the chicken is almost cooked, we add the spinach so it melts, it wilts and melts in really well. So let's get this cutting board out because this was used for chicken. We are always careful about cross-contamination. You never cross-contaminate your cutting boards. Okay, so I've got baby spinach here. I mean, you can put this whole if you like, but I like to chop it up a little bit so that it's easier to eat. And it blends in really well then. So I've got 1 pound of spinach leaves, fresh spinach leaves, which I'm going to chop up and have it ready. Now this looks like a lot of spinach, but it really is not, because once it wilts down, it's going to be very little. And if you like a lot of spinach, well, you're welcome to add more, absolutely. Oh, this is going to be so yummy. Yummy in my tummy. It's going to be so good, y'all. You know, sometimes people get intimidated cooking Indian food. They think it's very difficult, but it's not. Just a few ingredients. You cook them together, you put them in one by one. Indian food is a labor of love. I always say that. You have to take your time and do it, but don't be intimidated. It's very easy. It's just a few simple ingredients that give it a lot of flavor. Indian food is not necessarily spicy, but it has spices that give it the flavor. Of course, you can make it as spicy as you want. I like it spicy. But at the restaurant, I don't make it very spicy for customers because you want everyone to enjoy it. But I do have some fresh chili paste that I use. If you want it spicy, I can certainly make it spicy. All right, you see that cooking? It's released some of its own juices. And we'll just mix it some more, let it finish up. And because this is chicken tenderloins, it cooks very quickly. I'm going to add just a little bit of water at this point, so everything blends in really well. I've got a little bit of water here. Just add the water along the side. You don't want to wash away all the flavors that you just mixed it with. That looks so good. It smells so good. You guys must try this. Okay, I'm gonna let that continue to cook a little bit more. And I'm also gonna chop some fresh cilantro now. In Indian cooking, we use a lot of fresh herbs, especially cilantro. The cilantro is going to give it this freshness. It's going to cut through the richness and the heat. If you add more chilies, then that's going to be a little spicy. So this is going to, oh my God, I can smell it. It smells so fresh, so fragrant. I love cilantro. And we use it not just to garnish, but also to cook with it, because it adds that extra layer of flavor. So just chop it small. I know sometimes people don't like cilantro, and that's fine. You don't have to add it, but this is just going to give that extra flavor. If you don't want cilantro, you can add parsley. It just gives it that extra touch of freshness. Mix that up. It smells so good. I'm going to increase the heat just a little bit because I want to add the spinach now, and then the spinach will wilt and then mix and get into all the chicken. That's going to be delicious. I'm going to mix that first and then add the rest. You see, it looks like it's a lot, but it's not. It's just going to melt in. When I say melt in, I mean, you know, just wilt and get into all that onions and the masala. It's going to taste really good. Okay, see, it has wilted already. I'm going to add some more. Add the rest of it. Sometimes people like to grind it up, make the spinach into like a puree with some water. But I don't like to do that because I like to see the spinach. I don't want just the green color. I want to be able to see it and bite into it. But you're welcome to grind it up if you like. This is a very popular dish in Indian restaurants. I make this at home for the family. I'm going to let the spinach cook a little bit with the chicken and the onions and the tomatoes. And then I'm going to taste it to make sure the seasoning is right. If it needs more salt or more chilies or more spices, I'm going to add that. It just depends on your preference and your flavors and your taste, your palate. Let's look at the rice. Ooh, you see the rice? That's so yummy. You see, it's so fluffy. It's long grain. It's not sticky. It's just fluffy. That's how you want it. Okay, we are all set. Now very soon I am going to start plating. And this is so healthy because I've used very little oil. I've used avocado oil, about 2 tablespoons, and then it's just all fresh vegetables, fresh spices, chicken tenderloin, which is very healthy, and it's gonna be so delicious. Can't wait. I'm going to turn this off now because this is ready, and we're gonna serve. This is a perfect meal for a cold day. Look at this, the rice is so fluffy. Okay, now I'm gonna add some chicken on top. Wow, I'm gonna add some fresh cilantro on top just to garnish it and give it that extra freshness. Now I'm gonna dig in. Now let's have it with the rice and see what it tastes like. Oh, it's so hot. Do you see the steam coming off it? It's so good. It's so good. The chicken just melts in your mouth. All the flavors of the spices, it gives you that warm hug. It's just so good. Salt is perfect. The spice is perfect. The spinach gives it that really nice texture. The chicken is so soft. Absolutely perfection. It's so good. You must try this. You're gonna love it. Give it a try. And thank you for watching me. If you like this, try it. Let me know what you think. And I will come back with more recipes just like this. Enjoy.